Hi friends, I'm Michelle with Garden Jargon. It is March 6th today and we are 11 weeks out from our last average frost date in May. Our last frost date is somewhere between the 15th and the 20th. In the last 4 years that I've gardened, it is different every year. So pretty much I kind of Google on my phone average last frost date for my city, and then dates will come up and I basically plan from around those dates backwards on my calendar. Let me show you how I do that. This is my grow room, and this is the wall in front of my planting station. And as you can see, the average last frost date is here on the 21st. And then I take that week and go backwards in numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that is today, March 6th. The reason that you count backwards from your average last frost date is because you want to look at the back of your seed packets and see how long it takes before they want you to sow these indoors. Now this is a Shishito Pepper, and it says to start indoors 8 to 12 weeks before your last frost date. So we're at 11 weeks today. So I have a lot of peppers to plant. Peppers take a bit to germinate, and I bought some heat mats this year so that we can germinate them a little bit quicker. But I have made a plant start list for this year because I have 4 gardens that I grow, and then I also do a little plant seedling sale to kind of offset the cost of purchasing all of the supplies that I need to start the plants. So this is my plant start list for my gardens, and then I have a plant start list basically to sell, which is pretty much the same exact thing, but you can see on this sheet of paper the amount of plants that I'm going to be starting this year. As I said, I have 4 gardens, so there's a lot of plants that are going to be growing. So I'm going to be starting today about 3, 4, close to 400 peppers. And what I'm going to do this year, since it's hard to germinate peppers because they need to be warm in warm soil, it's harder for peppers to be in a 72 cell tray with a lot of soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start them in these plug trays. I think there's 128. It's 16 across and 8 deep. I actually had to cut the edge lip off because there's these edges, like these lips. I had to cut them off so they fit in the trays. But I'm going to start them this year in these trays with the humidity dome on a heat mat. So I'm going to start about 4 of these trays today of peppers. I have my sweet peppers and I have my hot peppers, and I wanted to share with you the varieties that I'm going to grow this year. A lot of these I've already saved the seeds from plants that I've grown in the past, and this is one of my favorite snacking peppers. They're called Violet Sparkle. I've gotten them from Baker Creek, and they are a small pepper. They're about that size, and they are very thick flesh and very minimal seeds and very juicy. That's why I like those. They're little snack peppers. These are also kind of the same variety as in terms of small peppers. These are called lunchbox peppers. Super sweet, very thick flesh. I have yellow banana sweet peppers. I have a couple packages of those. And I got some from Baker Creek also. Always Shishito Peppers. These are a favorite amongst my friends. They always buy these pepper plants from me, Shishitos. These are the peppers that, they're a little bit thinner flesh on the pepper. And you want to pick them when they're green so you can blister them in a pan on the stove with some oil and salt. And then I make a mayonnaise, sriracha, aioli kind of dipping sauce for them. I cannot wait for them to come back into the garden. I did grow a pepper this year that was a plant that was given to me. It was called the Big Bertha. This is probably the biggest red bell pepper I've ever seen in my entire life. It was bigger than my hand, very thick flesh, and delicious. So I saved the seeds from that pepper as well. I also got this plant as a gift this year called a chocolate bell. And it is a deep, deep purple bell pepper. Delicious. Same thing here. Same thing here. Yellow bell peppers. I have a brand new package of seeds, and then I also have, obviously you can tell I've saved seeds for years, and I look at these seeds and sometimes they're a little bit smaller and these are kind of giant, so I'll just kind of look through the seed packets that I've saved and just use the ones I think are the best. Also orange bell peppers. I have a whole little baggie of those. And what else for sweet? Obviously, California Wonder green bell peppers. So I'm growing like the red, orange, yellow, and green bell peppers always, as I do in my gardens, because I eat those throughout the entire summer. Also poblanos, jalapenos, serranos, habaneros, bananas, shishitos, lunchbox, and sugar rush peach. So obviously green bell peppers. I've saved seeds for those too. Red bell peppers. In addition to the Big Bertha. Whoa! They went everywhere. More Big Bertha. And then the habanada. These are a habanero pepper without the heat, which is tasty because I like the flavor of a habanero pepper. I just sometimes cannot handle the entire heat of the whole pepper. And then for my hot peppers, my girlfriend Gloria gave me these from Mexico. I bet you they're really hot. So I'm going to pull the seeds out of these. They're nice and dry. You can hear them rattling. So I'm going to pull the seeds out of there and grow a couple plants for Gloria. This is a Goliath Jalapeno from Seeds and Such. First time ever buying seeds this year from Seeds and Such. If you have not seen their catalog, please jump online and look at them. Super inexpensive seeds. And the only negative I find on this is I'm paying a cheaper dollar amount for these seed packets, but there's no picture on the front of the package for what it is. And I bought tons of flowers from them this year. But this gives you instructions and everything on the back. And I think they're like $2 a packet for seeds on Seeds and Such. Jedi jalapeno, which is a very large jalapeno. Giant jalapeno, I saved the seeds. Jumbo jalapeno seeds. These seeds were from a pepper that I bought at Aldi. And I just pulled the seeds out of these giant jalapenos that were at Aldi. Don't know if they're going to grow. We're going to find out. These are early jalapenos, so these are a smaller jalapeno. And they actually produce quicker because they're smaller peppers. So that's why they can call them early. These are hot banana peppers. Sometimes they're labeled as Hungarian yellow wax peppers or Spanish hot peppers, but I'm growing them. They're banana peppers and they're hot. I like to put those in my cowboy candy. Serrano peppers, great in salsa. Sugar rush peach, and I actually have the heirloom packet from Baker Creek, the Sugar Rush Peach. These are very, very, very late to the party in the summertime. They don't start producing till mid to late September. I got some pepper seeds from a friend of mine that was a neighbor. The peppers grow upright and they're yellow, orange, and purple and red. And they pop up. So as they grow, that's what colors they turn. And what is this? Red habanero, which is the hot habanero. That will go with my habanada. But I will use like 3 habanadas and 1 habanero in one recipe. And then cayenne peppers. I love growing these peppers because these are kind of the pepper that I just set it and forget it, because I let these dry on the plant and then I blend them up in my blender so that I can have cayenne pepper, because I make my own seasoning salt with cayenne pepper. So these peppers that I do have like the seed packet for, and I've saved the seeds myself, I'm going to clearly mark those because I want to see if there's really a difference in germination. So that's what I'm growing this year as in terms of sweet and hot peppers this year. And I'm going to go ahead and fill up these seed trays so that you can see how I do that. I do this all in my basement. I don't have a greenhouse. And I basically put the seedling tray in here. And I have compost mix, you might see in an earlier video that I had from a greenhouse. And I basically just sprinkle it in here. I noticed that this greenhouse mix has had some sprouts of something. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but I don't know if it's weeds or if it's like seeds that they grow things there. I don't know, but there's tons of little stuff growing up out of this stuff. Nothing I can't thin off and deal with it later. There. I lightly put that in there. I did not pack it down because what I'll do is I'll take another one like this and set it on top and kind of push that down. That way it gets nice even pack in my seed starting tray. Just like this. So then what I'll do is I'll poke a pencil in there or a chopstick and make a little tiny hole, and then I'll put my seedling or my seed right in these and then sprinkle more mixture on the top of it. So I'm gonna excuse me, go ahead and start those up and then I'll come back to you guys. Forgot to mention you have to moisten the soil before you plant it. So that is what I'm going to do. So just spread those down with a hose. I'm going to put them in the trays and just let them drip. I use the average 10, 20 trays with no holes and put these little seed starter plug trays in there. Where's my other tray? There it is. And just like that, that's 2. This soil was already damp, but it was not wet enough to have a good seed soil contact. You have to have that when you're planting your seedlings. You never want your seedlings to dry out when you are starting seedlings. Because if they sprout and then they dry out, they're done. So you have a better chance of them drying out before they were germinated and then water them and then they might sprout. But once they sprout and a little pepper plant starts coming out of there and you let them dry up, all done. And I know that because I've done it. As you can see, this video is going to be very not edited because I'm lazy today. It's Sunday. I just want to sit down and watch a movie. So I bought these seed trays on Amazon. I think the 2-pack was, I want to say around $60. These are the large ones, the 48 by 20. So as you can see how big they are, I can fit 4 trays, 1, 2, 3, and 4 across them, and I bought 2. They plug in and have an on-off switch. Is that right? Oh yeah, so it has a little dial on it. It probably goes from low to high. Yep, that's what it shows here, from low to high. And I will crank it. And once those seedlings pop up out of these trays, then I can take them off the heat mat, because then I don't want them to continue to keep the soil moist and dry out quicker. Then I can just bottom water these trays once I have little plant starts. Something else I wanted to share with you, which I've done in several videos before, and I'm a huge advocate of this, is blinds. I use old blinds as plant markers. People say, where do you find old blinds? Well, sometimes when you go to Goodwill, they'll sell sets of blinds for like $2. And you know how many of these is in one set of blinds? It's ridiculous. So I cut all the strings off, and then I just use these to cut plant markers, just like that. Now, I'm cutting a lot of them this year to go into these seed trays, because I'm starting so many different peppers and there's so many rows that I don't want to mess up my peppers. I also made sure that I measured these so that I can use a humidity dome with them. So when these are stabbed in here like this, my dome still fits on the top. And that's one thing I wanted to do. That's why I've cut all these right now, and they're all ready to go. And they're all gonna fit in this tray no matter where I put them, and the dome will still be able to fit over them. Now these won't necessarily be the same plant markers that I use in the garden, because last year what we did was we cut them longer. So I had cut our plant markers for the garden about that size. So when we stab them in the ground, we were printing labels, like return address labels, or I think it was considered an address label, and we ran them through the printer, and we just stuck the stickers on here, and those lasted way longer than using a Sharpie, because the Sharpie either washes off from the rain or the UV light actually kills it, and it fades throughout the season, and I don't like that. So we printed the stickers, and those worked really, really well last year. So I'm going to cut a bunch of these super long so that we can print stickers and put them on there for outside use, and I'll put these in their forever cups, because these plants are going to get stepped up into bigger cups later after these guys grow a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is just cut these up, cut a little bit more of these up, and label them before I start putting seeds in here, so I don't screw it up, because I've done that before. Okay, in this hyperlapse, you see me writing on plastic blinds. I utilize old plastic blinds that I either find for super cheap on Marketplace, or I find them in the trash even. I just take the strings out of them and cut them up to the right size. I make sure that they're not too tall, that the humidity dome doesn't fit over the top of these, because I'll be putting them on a heat mat with a towel draped over the top to keep them nice and dark. I also put the date that I'm planting them, as well as on the back of some of them I put the maturity date on there, so I can kind of keep track of when I should be looking for and make sure that things are popping up as they should be. I use a Sharpie on these because these stabbers, as I call them, plant markers, will not be going in the garden. They're just going to be going in the cups. And I use labels with stickers to put on the stabbers that I use for outside use. All right, guys, I have planted 4 trays of peppers. The seeds that were brand new, I did 1 seed per cell. And the seeds that I saved, I did like 2 or 3 seeds per cell. The reason being, over time, the seeds lose their germination rate. So I'm also going to write down every seed packet that I planted this season and really take note of the germination rate. So we're going to see how well the seeds that I saved myself, how much germination rate we got from those. The brand new seeds, I'm pretty sure they'll have close to like 95 to 100% germination rate. So what I did, I want to share with you. is I planted all of these cells. You really cannot tell the difference in the seed and the perlite that's in there, so my apologies. Oh, a couple of these you can, like in here. There's 2 seeds there, there's 3 seeds there, 2 seeds in that cell. So what I did was I planted up these trays, and I have a sifter, and I have soil. This is the greenhouse mix that I got. I'm going to put it inside that sifter, and I'm going to sift a light dusting over all 4 trays, and then I'm going to water it with my spray bottles back there. So sit tight. So in this clip, I'm just taking the soil out of the bucket, putting it in my sifter. I could have probably used a bigger sifter, and I'm sifting a light dusting over the top of all of these seeds so I can't see the seeds anymore. I said I was going to use my sprayer bottles, and I lied. I used my garden hose because I totally forgot I brought it in the basement. All right, that's it. Been down here a while. It is hot in this room. Look at my cheeks. They're toasty. All right, so it's 11 weeks before our last expected frost date, and I just planted 4 trays of pepper seeds. And then after I planted them, I realized that's way too many than I need, and I have more seeds coming in the mail. I do it every year, but I'm addicted to planting stuff, so that's just gonna have to happen. So you can see the trays behind me. I've already watered them. I'm going to go ahead and throw them on a heat mat and cover them with the dome, and then I will do a follow-up video in about 7 to 10 days because that's how long it takes them to sprout. So I grew hot and sweet peppers in these trays, and I'm really excited to see some baby peppers pop up. So in about 10 more days also we will be doing a tomato video, and I have a unique way of planting tomatoes that is I do every year. So make sure you like and subscribe my video and my channel so that way you can see the video when I post it next time. So stay tuned so you can see the results of what we're doing here with the peppers. I'm interested to see the seeds that I saved and how I planted them really heavy, if they all kind of pop up. Because that's part of peppers that I hate. Because if they all 3 pop up, I have to thin them out. And I don't like to kill a little baby pepper plants. That's why I end up with so many. But you have to get them out of there so they can develop a nice little root ball when we step them up. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm Michelle with Garden Jargon, and I hope to see you in the next video.